when you have been talking about cosmosm, you recommended Juno, and I would just like to dig a little bit deeper there as a developer. Would you be worried about what's going on right now? Does it like influence the future of the chain? And what's your general stance with the whale drama? Where do you stand there? What's your opinions on it?
Absolutely. Okay. One, if I were a developer, I would be worried. Not past, okay, past 24 hours from now, probably there will no longer be a need to worry. But right now, yes. Okay. Because I am a developer and I do use Juno. And it's like a really tough situation. Here's a quick summary of events. Juno's genesis contained an unintentional and massive grant to basically like an unknown actor. Okay. When I say that, we basically, Juno was started from a snapshot, and then I think accounts were capped at 50,000. And what actually ended up happening was that there was this fund-like entity from Japan called CCN that had done the prudent thing. Okay, the prudent thing, if any funds happen to be watching, is definitely to split up, your capital among many wallets. However, in this case, what that created, because basically I would imagine that most very large accounts don't actually do this. You can see that many accounts from the Cosmos Hub did get cut off by the so-called whale cap, but this was a shall we say decentralized whale. And I've been involved sort of in the debate about what to do about the whales since Juno was a very young blockchain. So Proposition 4, I do not know who made Proposition 4, okay? I chose to bring it to a vote. So I was the depositor on it. Basically, I personally put down 500 Juno on Proposition 4, which I believe basically was a signaling proposal that those funds should be burned. Prop 4 probably lacked a lot of important language, okay? Furthermore, I guess basically what occurred, Takumi the whale and Wolf contract, they spoke to each other, and like there was a touch point. Conspiracy theories abound. I will not indulge them. Actually, I will say that Takumi the whale, I've spoken to him, very polite. Obviously, I'm on the Core 2 team. Wolfie's on the Core 1 team. I think he's a wonderful person. So, do I think that that something horrific happened there? No, I really don't. What ended up happening with Prop 4, what I recall happening, okay, thinking back, Jack said, well, Jacob, it's a fund. And should we be nuking fund wallets? And, what can I say? I kept my vote on 4 as a yes. So I did vote to nuke it. But Jack had a really good point. And then the issue sort of faded into the background for a while, right? And let's say that it was not something that I thought about. And then all of a sudden, 16 occurred. And I guess it was Wolf and Demi, but I'm not sure, that put 16 on the chain. And for the same reason that I supported 4, I also supported 16, which basically, this is about protecting governance probably more than anything. We decided to launch Juno through an airdrop, and definitely we're not aware of the unintended effect of this. Guys, Takumi the whale does truly, there's a large portion of the validator set gets a large portion of their delegations from Takumi the whale. And by the way, I'm not criticizing those validators for a second. Again, I'm no indulgence of conspiracy theories. This is just the reality, right? And does that give Takumi the whale some influence over governance? Yes, I think so. In fact, I think it's very large. So I voted yes on 16 as well. 16 contained language that may well have been inaccurate. When I voted for it, I said, I support the outcome of this proposal. And maybe some of the words were not quite correct. One of them, like, was gaming the airdrop. I don't know, right? And I'll never know if Takumi distributed his wallets in that fashion to game the airdrop, and frankly, don't really care. The thing that I care about is Juno's security, right? Cosmos chains, they have a certain design. And in order to keep Juno secure, well, I do. I think it's best that, the funds be, I said, 1, distributed, or 2, burned. This is kind of the toughest part about CCN. And since you're asking, if you don't mind, I'll go into a little detail here. So, what's that?
Sure, let's go.
Okay, cool. All right. So, as the Cosmos Hub was launching, CCN was raising funds from many people in the form of Bitcoin and accepting those funds, purchasing atoms, and it created a very heavy presence for themselves on the Cosmos Hub. They also did some community and meetup type activity in Japan, and honestly, I'm a huge supporter of that, right? I keep hearing very persistently that people who invested in CCN's whatever it is, their app is a little weird. Like, it has pictures of aliens and bonus rounds, and I don't know, right? But it's a weird place, and whatever. Thing is, people persistently have come to me and said that they had difficulty withdrawing. So, as this issue became more and more prominent, and obviously, my Twitter account, I was discussing it quite a bit. Users of CCN did contact me, and CCN made legal threats against them as well. I found that really, really distasteful. Fairly sure that what CCN did probably either illegal or gray in the first place. But again, this is cryptocurrency, and I would like to see borderless movement of funds. I would like to see people getting to choose, what they'd like to do with their own capital. To the degree that CCN treats people honestly, and helps people in that way, I'm very cool with it, very supportive of it. But again, persistently heard negative stories. And then maybe to cap off this little segment of our call, about 1 week ago, I did an interview with Don Kryptonium, aka Marcin, or Marcin, aka Don Kryptonium, Takumi the whale, and a couple of translators who were, sort of assisting Takumi with telling his story. And this was after the passage of 16, and I think before Prop 20 hit the chain. And Takumi was saying, well, I'm afraid that no matter what, the community is going to burn it. What I said to him, look, man, that's not my personal preference. My personal preference is to see the individuals get the Juno. And there's an easy retort to this, right? The easy retort is like, well, what about Binance users? And I'm like, well, life's not fair. We didn't put Binance users in Genesis, right? So, that's that. And yes, people could complain it's not fair, and I'd tell them, you're right. But to kind of bring a point home. On that call, I outlined to Takumi, okay, look, you can do the following things. And this will most likely sway the situation from a burn to a distribution. And I outlined those things carefully. I've seen none of it. Instead, he decided to go and, attack Wolf. And again, since the attacks were entirely conspiracy theories, let's say we indulge no conspiracy theories about either side. Whether or not CCN broke the law, let's say that's irrelevant here, okay? Whether or not Wolf, let's say that's irrelevant here. So the thing is, CCN is not even making moves to facilitate the distribution of those tokens. And I know that I gave them a very okay, step 1 is, step 2 is, step 3 is, and then we can send the coins by DAO to the users. I'm not sure there are users because I see no steps being taken toward that. So that's sort of my summary on the Juno situation. And then if you wanted to ask, my opinion, well, I'd still love to see them distributed to users, but I'm not real sure that I'll ever be able to confirm that the users exist or if they exist. Therefore, most likely burn.
Got it.
And as a developer, would that influence? And as a developer, would that influence your decision of launching on the chain now, or do you think now this burn proposal goes ahead, it's done, and then it's forgotten, and in a year no one talks about it anymore?
Yeah, I think it's likely to end up being that. And look, I can only speak in terms of most likely outcomes until Prop 20 has concluded. And then even then, there's that question of distributor burn. This is going to take another month, probably. Mm-hmm. But Juno remains the best place to play with CW in an unrestricted fashion.